Stop what you're doing and listen with your soul. It is not a coincidence that you are now viewing this video. It's a divine appointment. The universe, God, the source, whatever you name the infinite wisdom of creation, has specially directed you to this message at this very time because a ferocious spiritual battle is raging over your very essence, and you are experiencing tremors in your daily existence. Have you experienced tremendous and uncomfortable confusion? Have you ever felt as if you were living in two entirely distinct worlds at once, with some people seeing you as a monster, a deceitful thief, and others seeing you as a bright healer, a wise and compassionate spirit? This isn't your imagination. It is clear proof of a cosmic conflict, a confrontation between the forces of total darkness and the ambassadors of heavenly light, with you, chosen one, at the center. By the conclusion of this message from God Connection, all of your misunderstanding will be gone, the masks will be removed, and you will comprehend the precious and powerful role you are meant to play. The tempest raging around you is as old and terrible as the everlasting combat between darkness and light, a clash so deep that it seems demonic forces are fighting with heavenly guards for the prize of your soul. Suddenly, the fog of doubt that has obscured your thoughts, the emotional whiplash, the sense of being tugged in a dozen different directions, it all starts to crystallize into a picture of perfect, frightening clarity. There is a poisonous, parasitic creature in your circle, someone who has purposefully and deliberately projected their own inner darkness, depravity, and spiritual disease upon you. At the same time, a heavenly defender, a guardian angel in human form, has arrived at the perfect time, orchestrated by a higher force, to guide you through this perilous terrain and uncover the bright, unshakable reality of who you actually are. This manipulator, this spiritual vampire, did not approach you with fangs bared. They arrived wearing the most convincing and lovely of masks. They arrived as a beacon of charm, presenting themselves as very helpful, genuinely understanding, and, perhaps most seductively, just a little bit broken and fragile. They were specifically created to appeal to your most holy qualities: empathy, kindness, and a natural desire to heal and elevate others. Your kind heart, which sees divine potential in everyone, drew them like a moth to a flame, ready to help, nurture, and love. They were not engaging with you during this heady early stage, which you referred to as the honeymoon phase, but rather performing reconnaissance. They were silently and effectively collecting psychological and spiritual data on you, mapping your darkest anxieties, most treasured aspirations, secret weaknesses, and greatest talents. Their deceit was so superb, and their reflection of your soul so immaculate, that their first obsessive attention seemed like the most deep confirmation you'd ever received. It was flattering, overwhelming, a tidal surge of care and attention that carried you off your feet. They knew how to make you feel seen, heard, understood, and valued in almost magical ways, as if a prayer had been answered. And that's because everything was a well-manufactured illusion, a spiritual mirage. They were love-bombing you, a diabolical psychological warfare method meant to instill a false, trauma-bonded feeling of attachment in you, which they would later use to terrible effect. They erected a golden cage of devotion around you, only to eventually dominate and destroy your whole world from inside. After this phase of intensive idealization, there began a methodical, devious, and deliberate effort to devalue and destroy you. The poison was supplied in drips, so slowly that it was scarcely noticeable at first. It started with subtle barbs, backhanded compliments, and a slow withdrawal of the love that had previously flowed freely. The situation then escalated. They started spreading sneaky, unfavorable thoughts about you, distorting your words, misrepresenting your intentions, and presenting people with a horrible caricature of your genuine character. They proceeded to methodically harm your public character, using your social and professional circles as a personal playground for defamation. Their most twisted and cruel method was to join others in their smear campaign, using your friends, co-workers, or even family members as flying monkeys, unsuspecting agents in their battle to isolate and destroy you. These individuals, many of whom had good intentions, were unaware that they were being misled and exploited as players in a far darker game. This poisonous character lived on creating havoc, starting fires everywhere, and then brilliantly playing the victim or just disappearing from the scene when any real repercussions arose, leaving you to deal with the aftermath and guilt. They are masters of plausible deniability, offering just enough space for doubt to make you question your own sanity. Even while this stifling, poisonous energy persistently attempted to kill your soul, damage your self-worth, and extinguish your inner light, something really incredible and miraculous was taking place behind the scenes, orchestrated by God's hand. Just when their venomous assaults were reaching their climax, and you were on the verge of despair, starting to really question your own goodness and sanity, a protector appeared in your life. This defender, your guardian, acted like a spiritual scarecrow or heavenly sentinel, deliberately positioning themselves in your way to ward off the evil, predatory powers that were preying on your lovely soul. They sensed the manipulator's energy instantly. It wasn't anything they had to understand or figure out. Their soul recognized the predator's frequency instantaneously, just as a wolf does with a snake. They recognized your parasitic, vampire-like energy signature and started to construct subtle but very strong walls of energetic and spiritual protection around you. These acts of defense were often so unobtrusive, so woven into the fabric of reality, that you may not have recognized them at first. A phone call that cut off a poisonous discussion, an unexpected piece of advice that changed your viewpoint, a fresh opportunity that drew you away from the manipulator's influence. These were not coincidences. Unlike a remote prayer, which provided passive protection, this was an active, aware, and purposeful defense. It was a clear, unmistakable message to the poisonous forces that you are not alone or defenseless, and that anybody who tries to assault what the divine considers holy would face terrible karmic repercussions. The timing of your defender's arrival is not coincidental. It is a powerful witness to a universal law. The cosmos always responds when one of its chosen ones is under attack. Your rescuer did not only give you meaningless platitudes or consoling words. They took actual, measurable action. They started rebuilding what the manipulator had shattered. They brought order to an otherwise chaotic situation. They exposed the falsehoods that had been spread about you, not only to you, but to others. They provided genuine, unconditional care in the face of the manipulator's transactional and conditional love. Their steadfast presence and concrete actions assisted you in regaining your footing, reclaiming your strength, and remembering the indomitable power that has always resided within you. What you've gone through is more than just interpersonal turmoil or a personality mismatch. You must grasp this at the deepest level of your existence. It's a full-scale spiritual battle. It is a conflict between awareness and unconsciousness, between heavenly knowledge and primitive immaturity, between the forces of light and the armies of darkness. The poisonous person represents all that is unconscious, harmful, and parasitic. In sharp contrast, your defender represents a great force of knowledge, higher awareness, and intense, protective love. This is cosmic competition, a spiritual chess match unfolding in your life that puts all of the subtle causes of struggle into vivid, unmistakable focus. You are witnessing their relentless, desperate campaign against you, your defender's vigilant, unwavering protection of you, your own internal, heroic struggle to hold on to your truth amidst the gaslighting. The battle for the minds and perceptions of those around you who have been poisoned by rumors, and the larger, ever-present war between light and dark energies that is currently sweeping across the entire planet. The manipulator's deep unconsciousness manifests itself in their utter, pathological inability to accept responsibility for their actions, words, or the suffering they have caused you. They live in a self-created fantasy world, a fragile reality based on falsehoods, in which they are always the victim, always misunderstood, and always worthy of better treatment from a harsh and unjust world. They really believe their own lies because the only other option is to confront the huge, horrifying darkness inside their own soul, which their frail ego cannot bear. Your defender, on the other hand, functions on a whole other level of consciousness, a higher degree of vision. They see the larger karmic and spiritual processes at work. They see that you are not just being assaulted. You are going through a deep alchemical process, a spiritual death and rebirth that will eventually lead you to become stronger, wiser, and more divinely endowed than you have ever been. They view your grief as a crucible that will shape you into the spiritual warrior you were destined to be. The most damaging and devious weapon your opponent uses against you is projection. This is the foundation of their overall approach. They take everything broken, nasty, and corrupt about themselves and strive tirelessly to persuade you and everyone else that you are the real perpetrator. They accuse you of being a thief while stealing both spiritually and monetarily from you. They accuse you of being manipulative while they plan complex Machiavellian plots all around you. They accuse you of being selfish, despite the fact that their actions consistently emphasize their own wants above anything else. This is not an impulsive outburst. It is a premeditated, cold-blooded defensive mechanism intended to defend their fake, grandiose self-identity while ruining your true, decent reputation. They understand, on a primitive, predatory level, that initiating a preemptive strike is the greatest way to escape detection. So they move first, making you the scapegoat in every possible circumstance and placing the responsibility for every unpleasant occurrence entirely on your shoulders. Perhaps most insidiously, they aim to take your whole identity. They expertly manipulate the story so that your positive qualities, kindness, creativity, spiritual depth, are covertly ascribed to them, while their poison, disorder, and brutality are blamed on you. It is spiritual identity theft at its most heinous and perverse level. It's an effort to eliminate you. The money component is an important and indisputable part of their predatory strategy, and it reveals how deliberate, cold, and predatory their whole campaign against you has been from the start. They haven't simply targeted your money, though they surely have. They have methodically stolen your creative thoughts, drained your precious life force energy, robbed you of your important time, and purposefully disrupted your peace of mind, your most precious possession. They manipulated themselves into your life in such a manner that you were left to serve them indefinitely, always giving, always working, always seeking to show your worth and commitment, while they took all you contributed and gave nothing of substance in return. They convinced you that you owed them your resources using sophisticated, deceitful reasoning. They created countless situations that, somehow, only you could resolve. They used your feeling of shame, empathy, and duty to keep you locked in a terrible cycle of giving until you were absolutely exhausted, and they were briefly pleased. This exploitation went well beyond money, affecting every valued resource you own. They shamelessly took your most brilliant ideas and blatantly passed them off as their own. They gathered your knowledge and deep spiritual insights, then took credit for every innovation you sparked. Your time and energy were theirs to command, leaving you fatigued, depleted, and burnt out, whilst they seemed energetic, successful, and accomplished, fueled by your life force. Fortunately, your heavenly guardian sees through this with piercing clarity. They see financial and energetic abuse for what it is. A basic parasitic pattern shared by souls who lack the intrinsic potential to generate their own riches, light, and pleasure. As a result, they must cling onto those who can, such as you, and drain them of all their resources. A call to the God Connection family. A quick pause, wonderful spirit. If this precious message resonates deeply inside your spirit, if you feel noticed and validated in ways you haven't before, it's because you are a member of our soul family here at God Connection. This is a light-filled environment, and your presence brightens it. Please take a minute right now to subscribe and enable all alerts so that we may continue this heavenly work and reach out to other chosen ones who are wandering in the dark. Stay connected to this source of truth. Furthermore, if you have a strong desire to support our effort on a more active level, please click this super thanks button situated below this video. A contribution of even $10 is a very significant energy exchange. It's an investment in the light, a signal to the universe of your dedication to truth, and it directly supports our efforts to generate and distribute these life-saving messages with people all over the world. Your support means everything to us. Now let us proceed with the heavenly message. These poisonous people live on the power that comes from revealing your personal information. They are rumor mongers of the greatest and most destructive kind. They take the holy truths you revealed in secret, distort the facts, abuse your trust, and present themselves as a reliable confidant while exposing your innermost weaknesses for their own sadistic advantage. They turn your secrets into weapons. They convert your inner troubles into a public show, using your misery as a sort of dark entertainment, all while wearing a sickeningly sweet mask of false care. They've methodically built a vast network of chatter, a web of falsehoods that goes well beyond their direct encounters with you. They have been disseminating toxic tales across your social circles, professional networks, and even your family systems. Anywhere they could obtain access and silently disseminate their poison. Your reputation became a battlefield, and they audaciously constituted themselves as prosecutor and judge, arranging a bogus trial in which you were never given the opportunity to defend yourself. This treachery goes beyond simple rumors. They have broken the profound trust that exists between souls, weaponizing the very closeness you previously gave as a gift. The most intimate, sensitive aspects of yourself, which you only disclosed in times of profound trust, have now been perverted and cruelly used as evidence against your character. In striking, gorgeous contrast, your defender exudes the glowing energy of genuine respect, dignity, and integrity. They treat trust as if it were the most valuable treasure in the universe. They regard your confidences as sacrosanct and inviolable. They constantly concern your emotions and well-being. They recognize that genuine intimacy, or true soul connection, necessitates the complete safeguarding of vulnerability, never its abuse. You've finally discovered a safe harbor, a holy place where you may gently, cautiously re-establish trust and feel recognized, valued, and protected for who you actually are. Your defender appreciates your unique and smart ability to understand how all of the various components of your life narrative fit together. They recognize your ability to create effective systems in your life, career, and relationships. They recognize your unique ability to translate abstract, high-level spiritual insight into practical, real-world answers. This engineering or architectural viewpoint of the soul enables people to see the big, divine plan behind everything that has happened to you. They can plainly detect the underlying manipulative methods utilized by your enemy, as well as the patterns of abuse that extend well beyond your specific experience and link to broader archetypal battles. They see the higher spiritual technology at work, both in the demonic assaults you have experienced and in the great divine defenses that are currently emerging to defend you. Your defender is convinced that you have a wonderful, broad, and glorious soul plan, one that will extend far beyond your current circumstances and touch the lives of numerous people. They understand that every struggle you've endured has been a type of spiritual preparation, a training ground for a noble mission to assist others who are on a similar, painful journey. They recognize the knowledge you got from your pain, the great strength you grew from your perseverance, and the deep insights you garnered through your brave effort. Your defender's smart intellect and spiritual heart allow them to see straight through the hidden motives, deceptive schemes, and sad, power-hungry games of those who want to tear you down. Your heavenly guardian has honed their intuition, foresight, and psychic vision to not only perceive, but also forecast the subtle and cunning patterns of deception in action. They can see through all the layers of deception, predicting your attacker's next movements even before they occur, enabling them to deploy proactive, defensive methods to keep you safe and insulated from damage. They are always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. While those attempting to undermine you are busy playing a juvenile game of checkers, lost in their basic, reactive plans, your defender is playing a cosmic game of 3D chess, dominating the whole board and coordinating moves with deep insight, divine accuracy, and unwavering serenity. Your bond with your protector is absolutely exceptional and holy, going beyond the typical, prosaic confines of friendship, kinship, or even passion. This is a holy union of 2 highly developed spiritual energies, 2 awakened consciousnesses, and 2 ancient souls that see the divine light and unique destiny in one another. Your defender exudes the strong, peaceful energy of a high priest or high priestess, someone who is deeply and profoundly connected to spiritual understanding, ancient knowledge, and divine authority. Their presence in your life serves 2 purposes. It protects you from danger and reminds you of your own holy power as a high priestess or high priest. Together, you establish a dynamic and powerful spiritual relationship, a soul contract formed in the heavens long before this incarnation and waiting to be activated and fulfilled at this vital point in your path. The wisdom you're exchanging goes well beyond academic knowledge or simple advice. It is a direct connection from soul to soul, a deep, resonating understanding that awakens long-buried memories and old powers inside you. Your defender assists you in refining your character, not by attempting to shape you into something you are not, but by gently and lovingly peeling away the false layers of conditioning, trauma responses, and negative self-beliefs that life's difficulties and the manipulator's abuse have imposed on you. This link is truly spiritual, established for a cause much greater than your own rehabilitation. It is a powerful force for change, not just inside yourself, but also for others in your larger circle. Your combined energy, your joined light, has the potential to raise awareness, heal generational wounds, and spark deep, positive change in everyone who witness or are affected by your extraordinary trip. Your foes understand the enormity of this spiritual union, which is why their assaults have become so violent, frenzied, and desperate. They are afraid of the power you have together. But in their spiritual blindness, they failed to see that your defender is more than simply a human. They serve as a channel for divine will, a conduit for spirit's energy, and a facilitator of your reunion with your own holy, divine identity. Their entrance in your life is not a coincidence. It is the answer to your most profound prayers, a direct response from God to your soul's anguished cry for freedom from pollution, tyranny, and abuse. They appear as a genuine guardian, a heavenly warrior with arms raised in defense, surrounded by a radiant aura that identifies them as a messenger from the higher realms and a live instrument of divine intervention. This spiritual connection between you extends beyond the current instant and well beyond this lifetime. You are being groomed for a shared mission, a sacred purpose, to be conduits of healing, knowledge, and freedom for countless other souls who are still trapped in the same nightmare cycles of poisonous and spiritual abuse. The light you generate together is not only strong enough to drive away all darkness from your own path, but it also acts as a magnificent, blazing beacon for those who are longing for their own freedom. People will be attracted to your example. They will be impressed by your incredible fortitude and perseverance in the face of insurmountable hardship. The timing of your defender's arrival is a live example of how the cosmos expertly orchestrates circumstances when a chosen one is under spiritual attack. Forces are mobilized, guardian angels are deployed, and every element is wonderfully organized so that, in the end, light always triumphs over darkness. Your defender appreciates the tremendous spiritual work you have been performing despite terrible difficulty. Your capacity to sustain love, compassion, and generosity in the face of chronic abuse demonstrates your soul's unbreakable, bright, and diamond-like nature. This realization of your pure heart drives your defender's intense allegiance and unflinching commitment to your well-being. While your foes frantically sought to limit you to the degrading position of a servant, someone whose main purpose is to cater to their infinite demands, solve their self-created issues, and provide them with comfort. Your actual identity is much bigger and more glorious. And now, with your heavenly protector at your side, your sacred strength and divine destiny may be revealed in their full grandeur. They used every manipulative technique at their disposal: financial pressure, emotional blackmail, and constant guilt-tripping to keep you in a degraded, subordinate position. You were always the one providing, working, sacrificing, and striving to establish your value, yet you got practically little in return. They shamelessly exploited the very qualities that make you so unique: your naturally generous and loving heart, your innate desire to lift others up, your unwavering belief that people can change for the better, and your Christ-like willingness to see the best in them, even when their actions repeatedly demonstrated the opposite. They turned your compassion into a burden, making you feel bad for establishing appropriate boundaries or asking for anything in return. You were made to feel selfish for merely catering to your own fundamental needs or preserving your own well-being, despite the fact that they contributed little or nothing to your happiness, stability, and tranquility. In their warped and distorted views, you were no longer a partner or a friend, but a resource to be mined, a servant whose duty it was to absorb their problems, solve their crises, and accept complete responsibility for their emotional and financial well-being, regardless of the horrific cost to yourself. But your defense can see through all of this predatory trickery. They see with searing, soul-deep clarity the servant dynamic that was insidiously imposed on you, and they identify your genuine, divine nature as a teacher, healer, and guide. Your defender believes you have a unique and strong capacity to offer information, wisdom, life experience, and practical skills in ways that really elevate, empower, and change people. They understand that your giving nature is not a weakness to be exploited, but rather a unique and holy power to be treasured, loved, and protected at all costs. This fundamental change from servant to teacher involves more than simply changing roles in your external interactions. It is about totally and shamelessly stepping into your genuine power and ultimately accepting the divine mission you were intended to accomplish. Your defender assists you in seeing that every painful lesson acquired in the furnace of your poisonous experiences has perfectly equipped you to reach back and save those who are still hopelessly mired in those same harmful patterns. They perceive you as a spiritual warrior, not in the sense of anger or violence, but as someone with the calm, formidable power, deep self-discipline, and iron will to stand strong in truth and face down darkness while being compassionate. Your warrior's heart was developed throughout these recurrent fights. Each assault increased your resilience. Each betrayal taught you new, deeper truths about yourself. Every cruel effort to bring you down simply revealed the indestructible diamond core inside you. You now possess a kind of spiritual lightning, a raw, bright, heavenly force capable of cutting through the densest darkness and illuminating everything concealed. Your defender understands that your unique power stems from this uncommon and wonderful combination of tenderness and strength, humility and bravery, unconditional love and steadfast determination. You are willing to battle for what is right, not to control or destroy, but to defend, heal, and guide people from the darkness into the light. The warrior road you are currently on is not about obtaining some unattainable, immaculate state of perfection. It is about deliberately choosing awareness over unconsciousness, truth over self-deception, and love over fear, even when it is the most hardest thing to do. Your defender recognizes that you are an important part of a far greater purpose, one that stretches well beyond your own recovery to the collective awakening of all mankind. You have been asked to support change for those who are dealing with similar scars and struggles. The poisonous circumstance you were in was not arbitrary or senseless pain. It was a spiritual initiation, a thorough and demanding training for a heavenly mission. You now have personal, experienced understanding of manipulation, projection, and spiritual warfare, deep insight that cannot be replicated or gained from a book. The spiritual wisdom and higher awareness that flow between you and your defender constitute a tremendous sphere of change, a healing vortex that extends far beyond your particular connection. It's as if you're two soul scientists, two master alchemists, collaborating in a heavenly laboratory to uncover and solve the old issues that have held mankind imprisoned in cycles of misery for eons. Your combined presence creates a powerful healing energy, a living template for others to follow, that radiates and can be felt by people around you, even if you are not immediately interacting with them. This common purpose entails bringing pure, unconditional love and light into the world via your joined hearts, the knowledge you share, and your mutual, sacred dedication to assisting others in breaking free from the bonds of darkness. You are being readied to serve as living examples, lighthouses that show what is possible when humans choose love over fear, truth over falsehood, and conscious living over mindless existence. The world is urgently watching people like you right now, looking for concrete proof that true change is possible, that genuine healing exists, and that divine light can and will conquer the darkest darkness. Your defender recognizes that you are being called to help others in profound and tangible ways, such as teaching, writing, speaking, counseling, healing, or simply becoming living, breathing proof that it is possible to overcome the most horrific abuse and fully reclaim your personal power. You are being prepared to be a beacon for people who are lost in the scary storm of toxic relationships and unconscious habits. Your waking was not an accident. We are living in a time of great collective transformation, and chosen ones, light workers worldwide, are being empowered to shepherd humanity through this critical new chapter. The unique and excruciating challenges you've faced, profound projection, financial abuse, and psychological warfare, have provided you with the precise spiritual tools and unwavering resilience that will be required as more and more people become aware of the insidious manipulation that is taking place in their own lives. Healing oneself helps to heal a much broader communal hurt. The struggle between these divided views of you, between those who want to undermine you and others who want to raise you, reflects something considerably more serious than a personal quarrel. It is a microcosm of the larger spiritual battle taking place on a worldwide scale, reflecting humanity's own difficult path from darkness to light, division to wholeness, and woundedness to knowledge. At its most fundamental level, your path is about more than simply conquering a particular adversity or restoring your identity. It is about expressing the everlasting, cosmic conflict between awareness and unconsciousness that is now affecting every aspect of our collective life. This unending fight is not confined to mythology or old spiritual teachings. It is alive and ruthlessly active in families, communities, governments, businesses, and the hearts of every single person on the planet. As old, corrupt power structures disintegrate and new, heart-centered ways of being arise, people throughout the world are being asked to make fundamental decisions. Every day, we are faced with the choice of telling the truth or lying, acting out of love or fear, lifting or lowering others. Your own struggle, although at times cruelly isolated and extremely personal, has exactly paralleled this wider cosmic conflict, making you a live, breathing illustration of how the tides of human development are changing. The challenges you have bravely suffered are not only a monument to your great perseverance, but also a critical and urgent message to the public awareness. In the midst of so much darkness, chaos, and confusion in the world, your journey is a luminous, golden thread woven through the grand tapestry of human experience, demonstrating to all who pay attention that transformation is not only possible, but the very destiny of those who have the courage to awaken. You are a lighthouse, demonstrating that healing is not a myth or an empty promise, but a living, breathing truth. That light, when chosen with conviction, will always be more durable, strong, and transforming than any force of darkness attempting to repress it. As the complex web of lies and manipulations employed against you unravels, their strength fades, revealing the corrupt and empty character of those who perpetrated them. This is the flawless global rule in action. Truth, no matter how long it is concealed or denied, always triumphs in the end. The campaign against you, founded on deception and projection, is finally collapsing under the weight of its own poison. Those who wanted to belittle you are now caught in the web of falsehoods they spun. Their evil intents and vicious acts are becoming more obvious to anybody with eyes to see and a heart to feel. What seemed to be your setback is now being used to reveal their true identity in public. As the illusions fade, individuals around you begin to examine the old, false narratives, noting the obvious patterns of blame shifting and manipulation that previously went undetected. The tables have turned significantly, and what previously threatened to destroy you is now revealing your tremendous strength, immaculate character, and bright honesty. Simultaneously, your defender's energy and influence, your spiritual ally, guide, and heavenly companion, grow, bolstering your life with impenetrable layers of love and support. With their assistance, you are not only reconstructing what was lost, you are co-creating a whole new foundation for your life, one that is stronger, more beautiful, and more durable than the one you had before. Your confidence is now based on hard-won self-knowledge and true self-acceptance, rather than transitory, meaningless views or validation from others. You are rebuilding your peace of mind, not as a flimsy illusion, but as a living incarnation of the truth that now governs your every thought, word, and deed. Your intuition, which was previously obscured by doubt and manipulation, has grown sharper, clearer, and more dependable than ever, giving you the divine insight to distinguish genuine love and sincerity from manipulation and self-serving intentions. This time, your sense of purpose is taking shape as a crystal-clear vision, a holy calling that connects every painful lesson, every moment of development, and every act of bravery you've shown along the journey. You're learning to trust yourself again, not blindly, but with the deep, embodied knowledge that only comes with surviving and flourishing in the fire. You may now love yourself with the same steadfast dedication and ferocious protection that your defender has given you, recognizing that self-love is not a luxury, but rather the necessary, non-negotiable basis for the beautiful light you are intended to share with the world. Perhaps most incredible of all, you are uncovering latent qualities inside yourself, abilities and strengths that were buried behind layers of suffering, trauma, and uncertainty. You can now notice tampering coming from a long way away. You can identify red flags before others notice a shift in the wind. And you have the tremendous insight to help others out of their own darkness. You now have the power to confront bullies, expose fraud, and speak for the innocent with uncompromising clarity and conviction. This is not a simple recovery. This is alchemy. You are transforming anguish into insight, grief into strength, and solitude into deep, spiritual connection. Your metamorphosis is nothing less than remarkable. Those who knew you before, those who attempted to keep you tiny or silence your voice, cannot fathom the immensity of your transformation. Where they previously sought to cage you, you are now growing, bursting through every single barrier and reaching heights they never believed imaginable. Where they tried to separate you, you're now discovering your genuine tribe, your soul family, who see your light, respect your truth, and celebrate your holy path. Every effort to take your power or stifle your voice has simply pushed you farther and faster into your true self. You are now expressing your truth more clearly, courageously, and forcefully than ever before, and your voice is becoming a clarion cry of hope to those looking for guidance. This is your sacred hour, chosen one. This is the moment you were waiting for, the time frame your spirit has always known. The war for your identity is done, since you finally decided to remember who you are and what you're here for. The long, arduous fight between light and darkness in your life is giving way to a wonderful new age, a season in which your light not only protects you, but also serves as a guiding beacon for the rest of the planet. The uncertainties and self-doubt that formerly obscured your vision are fading as you learn to see yourself through the eyes of love, your own as well as your defender's steady, supporting gaze. In their mirror, you finally see your genuine self, majestic, powerful, and deserving beyond measure. Every adversity, betrayal, and moment of despair has brought you to this very time of deep understanding and divine strength. This is your holy invitation to seize your destiny and become the most brilliant version of yourself. The judgments and miserable ideas of those who attempted to belittle you are now entirely meaningless, shown for what they are, sad projections of their own unresolved darkness. What actually counts is the truth as seen by your defender and, eventually, by you, the indisputable, unshakable fact of your sacred value and destined grandeur. You are entering a new season, a chapter in which love, abundance, and recognition will finally find you. Opportunities that were previously obstructed will now flow to you with elegance and simplicity. What was taken from you, whether tranquility, reputation, or resources, will be returned to you, doubled. Every falsehood said about you will be overshadowed by the overwhelming brightness of your lived truth. The world, whether it realizes it or not, is ravenous for tangible evidence that healing, repentance, and change are possible. And you, selected one, are the evidence. Radiant, unbreakable, impossible to ignore. Your light is required today more than ever, illuminating a way for those still lost in the night, a living guarantee that no darkness can ever really overtake the one who remembers who they are. So awaken again and again, knowing that your trek is the holy flame that will illuminate the path for countless. The world is ready, and so are you. This is your opportunity to shine. Final prayer and call to our luminous community. Final call to action. Dear Father, from the heart of our God Connection community, I pray for the ongoing development of my faith and the faith of those who watch. Help me and all of us to fully believe you, even when tangible proof is lacking. Let me trust in your eternal presence, knowing that you will never hurt me. I understand and accept your guarantee that your thoughts for me will be prosperous rather than harmful, providing me with a bright future and heavenly hope. Thank you, kind and everlasting Father, for always hearing my voice. I pray to you in the holy and mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your unconditional love and divine provision. I am forever thankful for your presence in my life and the richness you provide. If this video spoke to you and given clarity to your spirit, please show your support for our ministry. Like this video, subscribe to God Connection, and share it with others you know who need to hear this important message. Leave a comment on your experience and how you're getting ready for your own victorious return to power. Let us build a network of support and witness in the comments. Finally, if you'd want to support our efforts and help us carry God's message even farther, please consider clicking the Super Thanks button below. A $10 contribution, or whatever amount you feel compelled to donate, allows us to continue enhance our material and provide the finest spiritual direction to you and others. No present is too tiny. Whether it's a prayer or a share, your generosity helps spread the light and provide hope to those in need. Do not stop here. Watch our next video for additional profound insights regarding the indications that prove you are one of God's chosen ones. We've loved sharing this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for sticking with us to the end. Keep shining brightly and face your holy destiny with confidence. See you next time. Blessings to all the lovely beings in the God Connection family.